Let's get right into the video. I'm using my Garnier Active Micellar water to clean my face. It's important to use this to remove any dirt whatsoever that may be on your face. Now I'm using my badescu hydrating spray to hydrate my face, and I'm using a hand fan to dry the product down. Next is my Embryolisse moisturizer, and I'm applying it all over my face. This is a cream-based moisturizer, so you want to make sure you massage it properly until it absorbs into your skin. This is my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. You want to apply this everywhere on your face except your under eye. You want to make sure that you keep your under eye as moisturized as possible. Now I'm using the V Beauty foundation in the shade Chestnut. I'm going to use a flat brush to apply the foundation on my face. Then I'll proceed to use a damp beauty sponge. I'll use this to blend the foundation into my skin. After blending my foundation, I sprayed my face with my Nuban beauty setting spray and I allowed it to dry properly. I'll proceed to apply cream blush. I'm using the Eye Magic lip palette and I'm using the red shade in the palette. I like to apply this at the armholes of my cheek. Now I'm using my Nuban Beauty Concealer in 046.5. You want to make sure to use a concealer that is a shade or two shades lighter than your actual skin tone. Notice how I applied this concealer. I applied it under my eye, my forehead, my nose, my cupid bow and my chin. When blending your under eye, you want to make sure you start blending from the edges. Don't go straight into the middle and start blending. When you do that, you'll find out you don't have enough space to blend and you might end up leaving patches. So always start from the edges. I'll proceed to use a brighter shade of concealer, still from the same brand, just to brighten my under eye. And I'm going to blend using the same technique I said earlier. So now I'll proceed to set the under eye. Before setting, I like to make sure I blend the under eye again. You want to make sure you blend out any crease line before setting, because what you set is what you get. I'm using the Merak setting powder in the shade Cinnamon to set the places where I highlighted. But I'm starting with the under eye because the under eye is more prone to creasing than other highlighted areas. Always set with minimal setting powder and you can always build up if it's not enough. Keep patting until you've set the highlighted areas properly. I'll proceed to set my nose, my forehead, and all other areas where I applied concealer. Now I'm using the V Beauty powder palette to set the rest of my face using my exact powder shade. I'm using the shade Maroon to set the rest of my face. I'll proceed to contouring using the Juvia's Place Bronze Dew palette. Using the darker shade, I'll use it to contour the hollows of my cheeks, my forehead, and I'll proceed to define my nose using a fluffy brush. Now I'm using the V Beauty blush palette to apply my powder blush. I'm using the pink shade in the palette as my blush. Before I bake, I'll proceed to spray my face with a setting spray. This helps to reduce the powder and it also gives the face a skin-like finish. Make sure the spray dries down completely before you proceed to bake. Now it's time to bake and I decided to go a little brighter with my powder. I'm using the powder to snatch my nose first, so that means that I'm going to apply a significant amount of setting powder on my nose area before I slightly extend it to other parts of my under eye. After baking, I proceeded to do my eyeshadow. I decided to do my eyeshadow before brows today, so I start with applying my eyeshadow primer and I'm using the one from Garnier. Always make sure you blend your eyeshadow primer properly before you start applying your eyeshadow. I'll proceed to use the Annie's Beauty palette. I'm using the brown shade in the palette as my transition shade. Now this is my Juvia's Place, the Nuban palette. I'm going to use the nude shade in the palette for my eyelid area. Now I'm going to line my waterline using the Merak black charcoal pencil. Using the same Juvia's Place palette I used earlier, I'm going to use the darker shade of brown to smudge my bottom line and then connecting it to the outer V of my eye. I'll proceed to do my brows. You want to be very light-handed and careful when doing your brows because you've already done your eyeshadow, so you don't want to mess it up. I'll proceed to do my lips now, and I'm using the dark brown shade from the Eye Magic palette to line my lips. I used the nude shade in the palette on my lips. You want to make sure you blend it into the brown liner properly. Using a small fluffy brush, I went ahead to dust off excess setting powder from baking, and I proceeded to apply a little more blush at the amples of my cheeks. I applied the Nude Gloss. All the products I use will be listed in the description box below. So now I'll spray my face with a setting spray to lock in the makeup, and voila, this is the finished look. I really hope you love the makeup as much as I do. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one, okay? Bye!